Alright, good afternoon guys. I'm going to be telling you about something called Gravity Light, which is an innovation that's designed to provide affordable and clean electrical energy for people who are living off-grid around the world in developing countries. But before I get into that, I just want to introduce the problem to you that Gravity Light's trying to solve. So just think for a couple of seconds about how many people around the world you would expect are living without access to electricity. And keep that number in your head, because I know I was surprised that, to find out that as of 2017, 1.2 billion people were living without access to electricity, and that's 1.6 people worldwide. And you can see from this map, hopefully, that the majority of those people were concentrated in developing countries in Africa and Southeast Asia. And being some of the poorest people around the world, they can't actually afford any lighting alternatives aside from something called a kerosene lamp, which is basically a lamp that burns a fuel like petrol to produce light. And the reason I'm telling you this is because the kerosene lamp is actually the number one problem that Gravity Light tries to solve. From a sustainability point of view, kerosene lamps are really, really bad. They create something called a poverty trap, because they can cost quite a significant amount of someone's income. People have less money left over to spend on a good education or on good food, which can lock them in the poverty cycle further. Along with this, kerosene is a really dirty fuel, so it can produce fumes which have some pretty bad health implications for the people that use them, as well as also carbon dioxide, which is not good from the point of view of our SDG, which aims to reduce climate change. But the actual Gravity Light itself is quite simple. Hopefully this animation is not going to work, but you can see this, it involves a weight that is lifted up and allowed to fall under the force of gravity. And that kinetic energy is converted into electrical energy using a generator that then powers an LED or a series of LEDs and can light up someone's home. So it's a simple design. It costs less than $10, and it's 6 times brighter than your standard kerosene lamp. So you can probably appreciate that what they've done is design something that can be that is affordable, clean, safe, and effective as a replacement for kerosene lamps. And I think whichever way you look at that, that's a really sustainable initiative, and it can be something that could really change the lives of a lot of people around the world in countries where people don't usually get that kind of support. So I think this diagram really sums it up. By reducing fuel overheads, by providing people with a sustainable alternative, they have more money, which means they can afford a better education and hopefully in the long run break the poverty cycle. So that's Gravity Light. Thanks very much for listening.